What's up, guys? It's been a long time. I've been pretty busy with work and other things that life entails. But a while ago, I posted a video about the ticking of the the N54, and I boiled it down to being an injector. So I replaced number 6. The ticking went away. Well, then it came back maybe about a month ago, and that video was taken about a year ago. About 4,000 miles ago. I don't really drive this car too much, so it sits in the garage most of its life. But I found it to be the number 3 injector. Normally, what I would do is I'd go on eBay and find a dirt cheap replacement, just something like a spare used one. This one's I don't know what index it is. I can't really see it. It is a index 10. So. But I finally said fuck it. I'm tired of dealing with the replacing injectors every year. So I finally went ahead and bought a set of new index 12s. So we're gonna go through today, and I'm gonna show you guys how to put these in, and I'll even go over the coding a little bit with them. But the coding is kind of you can find plenty of DIYs on that. I won't get too detailed to set up the computer or anything, but it's important. It'll probably take longer to code them than it would be actually put them in. But the first thing you're going to do is you take down and write down all the numbers for each injector and the number per cylinder that you're going to assign it to. It's like, for example, number 1, 585, 215. And I have that labeled. I have them all labeled here. Here's 4, 5, 6. Here's number 1 would be 585 and 215. The numbers I'm talking about are on this injector right there, right underneath that QR code. You're going to need those numbers later for when you code them. So, let me get my light here, and the only thing I did off camera was obviously I don't like showing, I guess I'd take that off, that cowl. And then I went ahead and I unplugged all the injectors already with these little wires that usually stick out of them. They're hard as fuck to disconnect carefully without breaking the tab on the injector, but if you got shit injectors and you don't care about them, you can just break the tabs. But I'm going to go through and discuss how to take these off. I'll show you a close-up quick so you can see what I'm talking about when I go far out and you can see it. There's a bolt down right there. It's an E-Torx bolt. I'm not sure what size it is. I think it's an E12. You'll take that bolt off, and then there's a plate that goes across the 2 injectors, and it's shaped like a curve, and you'll see that when I take it off. But you take that bolt off, plate slides out, and then you loosen these. You take these 2 nuts off, you loosen these 2, swivel them up, and then you should be able to get the injectors out. It's a lot harder than it sounds. I mean, sorry, it's a lot easier than it looks, but I'll go through it with you guys and show you how to do it, so stand by. Alright guys, we're back. I apologize for the shitty camera angle. It's I like a mustard without a tripod. I got stuck to the magnet to the hood of the car. But the tools you're going to need to get these injectors out, not a whole lot as long as they're not stuck, is a 16mm wrench and a E12 socket. So the first thing you're going to want to do is loosen up the fuel lines. And when you do that, especially if the car has just been running, there's going to be fuel pressure in there, and you don't want to get sprayed in the face. So you want to take a towel. You want to take the wrench. It'd help if I grabbed the right size fuel. Oh yeah, wrench, wouldn't it? Hang on a second. You need a 14. Sorry about that, guys. 14mm wrench. So you have a 14mm wrench. Wrap the towel around that line and you crack it open. And you can spin it off by hand. Lift up on it a little bit to make sure you get all the pressure out. I can feel it's leaking fuel. And then you just leave that loose. That way there's no chance of pressure buildup. And don't open your car, or your car door, because it'll or unlock it, because it'll, you know how it primes the fuel pump for you. You have to make sure the fuel pump working. You open up that door or unlock your car when you got that line loose, it's going to spray fuel everywhere. So just make sure you don't touch the doors or unlock the car or anything at this point. So then at this point you can take and loosen up these fuel line connectors here. And I don't even take it off completely. I always do this so that way I know which way it goes back on. Because it can't go on the other way, but it's close. And it just reduces the risks of fucking up something. So you want to take them off in pairs of 2. It smells like E85. And you're gonna spill fuel, so put a towel down if you want to. Just it'll air dry in my opinion. So now you got the fuel lines off the injectors. Now you want to take your E12 socket. Now it's kind of hard to see from up there, but I don't know if I can zoom in so you can see it. That you can kind of see it. That bolt right there. That's the bolt we gotta take off. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that off. And now it makes it easier because I can't get my fingers in there. But if you have one of these magnetic wands, it makes it a lot easier to get the bolt out if you drop it. Still not loose. A lot of threads on that bolt. There we go. So now you got the little shoulder bolt. Put that aside so you don't lose it. And that plate I was talking about earlier, that fell down in there, that's where the magnetic wand comes in handy too, trying to get it out. And this is that curvature I was telling you about. You can see how it's curved. It is absolutely critical that this gets put down, both sides facing up. If you put it on like this, on the injectors like that, it acts like a spring that holds the injectors down. So if you flip this upside down, those injectors aren't going to be tight in their bore and they'll bounce up and down as the engine runs. I've seen it already where a guy tossed a cylinder out in this car for putting these on upside down. So it's absolutely critical that it gets put on like that. If you could think of it, the bolt goes in the middle here and the injectors will sit right here and it acts like a spring and it pushes the injectors down. So make sure it gets put on the right way. So now, if the injector isn't terribly stuck, it should just come out. Don't pull on it like side by side, only kind of wiggle a little bit and pull straight up. So it's not going to come out. So another little trick that I used to do is I used to take the fuel line here, and I have a spare fuel line from the other engine laying around, so I always take it and screw it on here, not tight, and then I use it as a handle. See? So that's one injector. This is the factory injector. I've never taken this out. It's a Index 10. Look at the carb. Look at the tip on that. That looks disgusting. I'll let you guys get a little closer look at the tip. Hopefully it'll focus. It's pretty black and gross. Remember, these are the original injectors for this car. This one is. I didn't change this one. So you can take off that little handle you made. Now the injector is going to be full of fuel, so I'll show you really quick. So you want to keep it upright until you kind of get it to where you want it to be. But yeah, it's going to be make a liar out of me. Yeah, there it comes. Just again, you're working on with fuel. Use common sense. Don't smoke. Don't do stupid stuff with fire. Don't run the engine. Just common sense. So you'll take that injector out. You can put it aside or whatever. You go back, get the other one, because you got two of them now. That one's stuck. So like I told you before, you can use this as a little handle. And again, this is with a reason. Don't pry up on it and bend it. It's just to give you a little extra grab, because there's not much to grab on these. So I just screwed on there like that, and it just gives me a little handle to kind of pull on. And this one's going to be stuck. And I'll show you how to get them out if they are stuck. So yeah, this is the one that we're going to call stuck. So that's not coming out within reason. I don't want to damage the hard line here. So what we'll do, I don't care about these injectors now. I'm going to show you one way to get them out if you don't really care how they wind up. You can take a vice grip and there's a little nub on top of here. You can grab that, or you can take the vice grip and grab the fuel fitting here if you want to try to save it. So I'll try the fuel fitting first, just because I know a lot of you guys probably don't want to destroy the injectors when you get them out. But now you got a much bigger handle to grab. You can twist it a little bit. Those seals are very tight, so it can be kind of hard to get out. And I just replaced these injector seals probably about a year ago. That one's being very difficult to get out. Like I said, you can feel that side to side movement there, that ticking. You don't want to elongate the bore for your injector. You want to keep it straight. So you just got to keep working with it. Eventually it'll come. See? There we go. So that was the one way you can get them out using a vice grips on that. On this fuel line here, not the threads, but the actual nut. You can see I labeled that number 2 when I pulled it out initially. You can see why they got stuck to all the corrosion in there. Leaking fuel over my hand. The tip on this one don't look too bad. So, alright, that's 2 of them out. So now, you wander over to your injector table. And you grab the injector you labeled as number 1, which is this one for me. You'll pull off the little protective cap, and oh, I already did this, but your new injectors won't come with these. I just bent that one, son of a bitch. Your new injectors won't come with these typically, these decoupling rings. If you did not get these with your new injectors, take them off your old ones and put them on here. They need to be here. It's like a cushion. You will screw shit up if that's not on there. They're little rings. They're not hard to get off, see? So make sure if you did not get these on this, like your injector will come like this. If these are not on the injector, you put them on. Either take them, you don't need new ones, you can just take them off your old ones. I don't think I've ever seen them go bad before. But so now you got the new injector here. All you do is you take this tube off, and you want to be quick with this part. You want to take the tube off. There's a new one. You want to stick it in the bore. Straight in, do not damage the tip. It should just slide in. Just like that. And then you can take this tip and put it on your old injector if you want. Then you grab number 2. Same thing. Make sure you got the protective cap off. Make sure your decoupling ring is on here. Take tip protector off. Okay. And you slide that right in the bore. Be careful not to mar up the tip. They're not in all the way yet. I bumped the camera, I'm sorry. They're not in all the way yet, but I'll show you how to get them in the rest of the way. So, see if I can zoom in on it so you can see it. If you look down in there, there's a tab on the injector. I know it's hard for me to hold the camera and show you, but that little tab right there, that's got to be seated against the cylinder head in between the 2 little tabs on the head. So what I do to get them down there is I just very carefully tap them down. I'm talking very carefully. So I'll take a like a 10mm socket, and I don't know where my little hammer is. I'll use my vice grips. Ingenuity. So what I'll do is I'll take a little socket here and I'll take it in the back side of the injector cap right here, and I'm talking gently tap that down till you hear it, you know, the noise change. There we go, that one's down all the way now. You can hear the noise change if you don't get them down all the way when you first try. It sounds a lot worse than it actually is. I'm barely tapping these. There. So now those two are in all the way. Like I said, you don't want to reef on those, you'll damage them. So now the next thing is we kind of just reverse from removal here. And this is the part that gets kind of tricky for a lot of people, getting this plate back in there. So you grab your magnetic wand here. This is just how I do it. I put off to the side like that. Well, I put it in the middle first, I guess. I haven't done this in a while. And you very well could take the coils off and make this a little easier. So yeah, I guess work it down in there with your hands first. And I take the, yeah, there we go. I take the magnetic wand and hold it on the side like that, so that way it doesn't move. And then I'll take and put that shoulder bolt back in the, at least the brackets hole. And I'll take my extension and my socket here. And because you're not technically in the hole, don't start reefing on it, so you know you're threaded straight in. And then you just start, once you get it on there, you can take that off. And you can just start screwing it down. And once you feel it go tight, just a little bit further. And then these injectors should be nice and solid, they ain't moving, perfect. So then after that we get the fuel lines here. And there might be some differences in the new with the old, so you might have to kind of move them around. They are hard lines, but you can bend them, I guess is the word for it, slightly if you have to. So that one's a little, I must have bent it when I was trying to pull that one out. There we go. So like I said, there's going to be some differences, so they might feel kind of tight. But there isn't a whole lot of science to tightening these down. I get snug, all of them, before I tighten anything down. And as far as tightening them, I always do like 1/8 of a turn. And then you plug your electrical connectors back in. There, that's 2 fuel injectors done. Just like that. It's not too bad. Hope my camera didn't move on you guys again. No, you can still see it. So that's 2 of the injectors. The rest of them are all the same. I'm going to go ahead and pop the other ones in, and then I'll go over and show you guys how to, what I do to code them. So I guess thanks for watching. Stand by. Hi guys, I just wanted to add something really quick on these injectors. When you're putting them in, I'm going to get a little better look on it now. You make sure that that plate is on top of the injector and actually holding on to the locking tabs that are on the injector. Because I don't think you can, but if you put them on underneath it ain't going to hold them down, so make sure you put them on right. Also, number 6 proved to be quite difficult to get out. So it does help if you take off that strut, half that strut bar that's in the way. But yeah, I just wanted to add a quick little detail about it. So I just got them all changed. I'm gonna put that bar back on, clean up a bit, and then we'll test it for leaks. I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, we are inside my car after I just changed the injectors. I kind of started already and I checked for leaks. I didn't see anything, and it sounds better than it did before, but I want to show you what you gotta do with the encoding. So now remember, you wrote these numbers down. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go open, you're gonna connect your cable, and you get your computer set up and all that stuff. I'm not gonna go over how to do all that. It was sheer luck that I got it set to begin with. But you're gonna open up IMPA, and then you're gonna go to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing here. You're gonna go to E90. And then you're going to go up here, you're going to go to, you're going to click Engine. You're going to go to MSD 80 for the N54. Then you're going to go to System Diagnosis, which is over here. You hit F9. And then you're going to go Shift F4 for EOL, Injector Rate Comparison, whatever it wants to call it. And you'll come up with this screen. These are all the values that were on my injectors before I changed them. You can see one of them was way different because that was an index 7. But anyway, you're going to use the F keys to go through and change all your injectors. So first we'll do injector 1. We'll hit F1. It'll come up with this. So first value is energy comparison, and then the next one is flow comparison. So the energy one is always going to be the one that's usually starts with a 5, the higher of the two numbers. So it says 585 on the injector. So when you type it in here, it's going to be 58.5. Now for your flow, your flow rate, for this one, number 1 is 2.15. So when you enter it in there, you're going to enter it as 2.15. Okay. And then you click OK, and it should change. It'll be close to what you put in. It won't actually ever be exact, but and then you go to number 2, and my values were 585. Well, hang on, 5. Dang it, 5. Sorry, 58.5. It's hard to do this while talking on the camera. And then the flow rate would be 2.39 for number 2. And you just keep going on the line. So we'll go to number 3. Number 3 was, delete the whole, 57.9. And the flow is 2.32. And then we're going to go to number 4. Oops, that's 5. At 583, so 58.3. And the flow is 2.06. We'll go to 5. And that one is 57.8. And the flow is 0.04, 2.04. And number 6. 56.3, and the flow on that one is 2.30. So that's all of them coated. So now what you want to do to make sure it took is you go back, you hit the back button way down here. I think it's F10, but I just hit back, and then I go Shift F4 again. Oops. Don't do that. I must hit F3 by accident. F4. And you compare what you have on there on the screen. So first one is supposed to be 585 with a flow rate of 215. Now it's close. 0.01 isn't going to change anything, so don't worry about that. 585, 239. So it says 2.37. So we can try to change it again. If it doesn't, then it's going to put it close to wherever it thinks it needs to be. So go number 2 again. We'll try changing it, see if we can get it to go right on. If not, then we'll just leave it. So it should be 58.5. So where's that mouse? There it is. And then the flow should be 2.39. Now remember, it says 2.37 right now. So we'll try to change it and see if it'll stick. If not, then we'll just leave it. Nope, it's not going to change. So it's always going to put it close to where it needs to be. Number 3 should be 57.9, and it should be 2.31. Number 4 should be 58.3, and it should be 2.06. 5 should be 57.8, 2.04, but it says 3, that's okay. 56.3, 2.30, but it's 2.029, so that's okay. So all the coating took, so that's good. So now we can go back, and then we can just exit IMPA. Go back to your car here, unplug the cable. Put that over there for now. Turn off your car. Turn on your car and see how it starts. Now remember, my injectors are going to sound a lot noisier because the acoustics cover is off right now. Didn't sound too bad. I'll post a final video after this one of it running with the covers on, so you'll be able to hear the difference. But I hope that helps some guys, and if you have any questions, just message me or get a hold of me on the YouTube. But as always, thanks for watching. As you can hear, there's a little bit of an improvement, but the injectors are just so damn noisy on this car. But it is what it is, I guess. It's more with the sound and the insulation that I had to cut for the oil catch can that's causing the noise too, so.